this just yet, but I think it's still young for this team, so I wouldn't be too concerned with that. Luminosity have all the potential. They have to be going into this as underdogs because they are yet to prove themselves on the grand stage. Maybe that will happen today. Pistol round will start well for Luminosity, putting 2 people or maybe 3 toward Pop Dog, but there's still one more player there.
Yeah, I really like this, just going really aggressive at the start, but the headshots are being won out by Mousesports so far. So forced back onto the bomb trains as Luminosity sort of reset themselves defensively, positionally, and Mousesports reset themselves with the offense here. Just rotating back towards Secret into the B-bomb site, and Ross has found himself a USP, and that's going to be put to good use here potentially as Showtime arrives on the scene. He was playing really well yesterday, actually. Let's see if he can continue in this 2v3 here for Luminosity.
Yeah, he's a player who has come under some criticism in some previous teams, but he's doing well for Luminosity so far. Taking one in the face, though, this time. Taking one for the team, perhaps, but see if PKL can bring it back. 1 versus 3. How do you get 1v1s in this situation? That's why he's just standing, holding this angle, trying to reposition, trying to catch somebody rotating, perhaps, to help. But he gets himself a 1 versus 1. He doesn't have a kit, so this round is pretty much over already as far as Mousesports taking it. But maybe he can make some extra money in the meantime. And that will be a bonus since he's got imperfect armor now, although he doesn't really need a helmet in the next round if he can save his Kevlar. And Chris J will give him some more bonus money, so that's $900 for PKR at least. So he's got something out of this round.
Yeah, it's, I like the point they made on the desk about how, you know, the CT side, Tier 1 Counter-Strike, is sort of a mini T side. I think that's very true, and it was actually the downside previously of Luminosity's game before they added Cello and Nekis, and I think with Cello and Nekis we saw sort of more potential sort of realized and actualized by Yell, seeing more explosiveness from him as an, you know, an AWPer for the team. But generally they just did, I mean, against Fnatic they were downing this match point for ages and they're going super aggressive. I mean, that is such a good sign, and if they're able to do that against Mousesports, it's going to bode very well for them. Mousesports trying to run this anti-force buy, and so far not going too well. The Scout doing some damage, as well as the TZs. They can't get through the choke points. This is going incredibly well. Sunny
tagged to 10 HP, trying to leave the situation, and that means that there are guns to be collected, there is map control to be taken, and Luminosity will do both. Chris J creeping and finding PKL, that'll make things slightly easier, but they're both tagged, and his pistol's going to be very dangerous indeed, but Chris J today quick on the trigger finger. Doesn't get enough credit for his rifling since Oscar took over the primary AWPing. And maybe we'll see some more ping from Chris J later on. He still picks it up from time to time, but for now, we are asking a lot of him. The plus side is he has a minute on the clock and he has the bomb. Where are Luminosity, though? That's the question.
They're pushing. At least Showtime is. I love that. They had the 4v2 and they're just pushing. Again, it's not something necessarily you would always expect from a team. You know, fundamentally, it might not be the optimal choice, but it's so the pressure you put on your opponents by taking those risks. If it goes your way, it's just so crushing, so crippling. And Chris J may be falling to such aggression here, as I doubt he's going to expect the positioning of Showtime with that AK coming out of T-main, and absolutely not. Shot straight inside of the face. Showtime with that ruthless aggression. Luminosity, what a start for them.
Yeah, that situation's a big problem for Chris J. Yes, he has the bomb, but the problem is there are especially on a map like Train, there are so many angles that he has to check, and he doesn't want to reveal his position, which means that he ends up burning his clock down so much. So it's a very, very low percentage situation for Chris J, especially on a map such as Train. Mousesports on the pistols, they will force buy right back. I love it when we see force buys back and forth. Luminosity have 1 AK from the previous rounds. They've got the Scout as well, UMP. 3 rifles in total, so they're in a good spot. Mousesports with 2 smoke grenades. We'll see if they can get into the A site with that. Nekker's caught very close to main. Maybe he was trying to get flashed in by a teammate, but he is out of the round.
Yeah, it's looking a bit shaky, but Luminosity should be able to hold on. They've got very, very solid weaponry to work off of, as well as these defensible positions. Cello trying to wrap around the side and pursuing the frags, and that'll be pretty much everybody from Mousesports knocked down. It's just Rops remaining, and, well, not really all that much going for him at the moment. Cello with that forward position, and the triple kill is going to be able to secure the round for Luminosity. And they honestly, if you consider how that started, Luminosity didn't really lose too much money, and now with the prospect of playing against Glocks, they should be able to build quite a solid bank here, which will help them out with, again, as mentioned on the analyst desk, that aggressive play that you really want. There's not a lot of aggressions you can take on this map, so it can be difficult, but having that extra money to take those risks is very important.
2-2-1. Mousesports now looking for a gauntlet run into the B bomb site, but one player will flash for another, and Nekes is firmly in control of the bomb. And the priority in this round has got to be planting the bomb for Mousesports to get some bonus money. Those extra grenades will most certainly help, but that looks very unlikely now, so it might be about damage. Cello not going to wait around, he'll go down, but it's not a big deal with the MP9. So here we go, here's a buy round for Mousesports, and they may have a reasonable amount of grenades, but the bomb plant would have it would have been nice, but it wasn't to be, not this time.
And another interesting point that was made, I think, by Yanko was that Luminosity have been so fearsome in practice, and if you think about Fnatic and one of the reasons why online they're so good, it is really about their aggression and how free they feel like that they can play in the online conditions. And both Fnatic and Luminosity seem to be sort of bringing that to LAN at this event, so that's really cool to see. And again, aggression continues. Showtime with a push, and he's got teammates here able to respond by pop dog so they can play off one another if they need to. And a quick 5v4. Now Showtime just looking for the info, and it really feels like Luminosity have control of the situation. There's a push on Ali as well. They're just pushing everything, James. And that's so cool because they got the info towards pop dog, so PKL knows that he can do this push fairly safely.
Mousesports are surrounded like a 90s action movie. Helicopters are out, the lights are on. So this is a very important note for people at home as well. When you flank and you get some information, you don't want to just continue flanking until you engage people. You want to hold some map control. Ooh, almost PKL, almost, but not quite. You want to just contain, because PKL's the only man in that situation. If he continues to push, goes up the stairs, and he gets taken out, then Luminosity suddenly are in an awkward position where Mousesports could rotate out and they'd have no idea. So he just contains and allows the rest of his teammates to tighten a net elsewhere. You don't have to continue pushing until you find someone. But Luminosity will continue to cut down these Mousesports players, leaving 30 seconds on the clock. At least one of these two players has been seen above B, so there's a good bet it's going in this direction. Chris J taken out. It's Oscar alone with the bomb, trying to make it to plant the bomb, but he will be denied. Oh,
there we go. Almost left him hanging. Yes, absolutely. I mean, this is kind of insane to me, how sort of Luminosity clearly looked like they're just completely in the flow of their game style, and this is sort of a new game style for them. There were so many problems in the older editions of Luminosity. I feel like I'm almost compelled to keep bringing it up because this is such a stark contrast to 4 or 5 months ago. And normally you don't see teams, they're not able to turn it around in the way that Luminosity have. So it's so impressive to see, and just the unrelenting aggression that we are so far witnessing, which is not just aggression, it's based on communication. This risk they're taking based on their economy. These are risks that aren't just sort of like pure gambles. They are trying to make them safe, and they're trying to make them smart.
Calculated risks.
Calculated risk. I was looking for that word. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, I don't think Luminosity got enough credit. I mean, I think we might focus on them more than other people do because of how much of their journey we've seen. But like when they just say that Oscar is very capable of taking over a match, I think Yell is a perfect style matchup for Oscar in that trying to take over. I think they're both going to be very explosive, or they most certainly have the potential to. In the previous Mousesports matches we've seen in this tournament so far, he's barely had the AWP because they've barely won any rounds. So I mean, that's something they need to achieve before he can pick up a sniper rifle. At least they have a chance to get the bomb down. Stico trying to keep them entertained while that bomb makes its way to the site, and he may just have done his job.
Robs has done pretty good work here. That's the second frag for him with the M4 picked up. Very low on the health though. We can't expect too much here, I think, from Mousesports. It's going to be very hard for them to hold on to this. Nekes quickly able to wrap around and destabilize the defensive positions of Mousesports. Sunny now is the last man here with the Eagle. Has a quick one there. Perhaps if he can get another one shot here, there's a chance maybe. Ooh, goes for it. Nekes ready though. That was a great smoke that they threw, Luminosity, to the upper position to essentially allow an easy wrap onto the bomb train.
Just another thing for people at home as well. Like, if you see what Stico did in that situation, I think a lot of people at home will play scared and they play not to die rather than play to achieve a team goal. Like, Stico is by the connector area, and his job is to face the CTs and die while the bomb makes its way to the site, because the bomb is coming down the ramp at the same time. And if he just stands and hides there and just waits for CT to push, then they're going to shoot the guy carrying the bomb. They need to get that bomb down. That's $4,000 across the team. So he needs to face them, make the CTs look at him, and shoot him in the jaw. That's his job in that situation. It's okay to die sometimes. Finally, we have both snipers on the AWP, as in Oscar and Yell. And Mousesports, though, are still not having a good time, but maybe Oscar can fight back.
And again, you know, we just see the same situation again. It's a 5v3, but we still see PKL going for the push on Ali. And this just seems to be the style that Luminosity are playing, but it is one that can be exploited, and that's happening so far. But Yell could make the difference. We've not seen too much from him with the AWP just yet. He's not really been required to do all that much just yet, but this could be a different story now, as it is a 2v2, and Mousesports are looking at one of the only rounds in which they could say that they've had an advantage so far in the first 6 rounds of this match.
If you saw when Chris J went up the stairs, and he's looking above the stairs where the windows are as well, because of all the aggressiveness we've seen from Luminosity, he is checking absolutely everything. And that's great conditioning for Luminosity moving forward into future rounds. Yell, he's at the back of A at the moment, and Showtime's on the B bomb site. He's taking a gamble here, exposed to both areas, and he must. It's a 2-on-2, he must take a gamble. Question is, can he reposition before he gets wrecked from up above? The good thing is here, one of his teammates who are dead should be looking on his peripheral for him and make the call as soon as they see someone, just to help him a little bit. He will go down, and that leaves Yell on a 1 versus 2.
Yeah, that's an interesting choice there. He went for the straight 1v1. I think that just shows how confident he is. Although I think you would have liked to see him just be able to play with Yell instead of just going down in that way, but to see if Yell can do something. He's swapping out for the M4 so he can go for this. Has a bit more of an ability to play the dynamic situations, but Chris J gets the advantage with the smoke. And that's a round for Mousesports. And again, you know, it's live by the sword, die by the sword for Luminosity. Again, a 5v3 at the start. Everything went really well. Then they continued that aggression, and it's something that, again, it's been working for them. And clearly, Luminosity are very confident the last month or so, but it can be exploited, so they have to take care with that. I'll have to see, though, if we'll have a change of style from them, or whether they'll continue with that. Now, again, aggression from Showtime. This guy, oh man, just pushing by himself this time, and wins the 1v1 against Rops. A 5v4. Now, do they, again, change the style? Do they just wait and hold? That is the question. So far, it does seem to be the case.
Luminosity have done a really good job of getting these early frags in many of these successful rounds. Rops 3-8. Not often you will see that situation. Sunny picked off elsewhere. Chris J looking for a tap, but PKL's position is superior. Shot with the FAMAS. Everybody alive for Luminosity. Showtime and Stico. I was wondering who would see who first. Wow. And it will be Showtime. And yeah, again, going back to that situation where Showtime in the previous round had to look at 2 places at the same time. He had 3 dead teammates, so if you're in a situation like that, you can definitely ask one of your dead teammates to just keep an eye on your POV, look towards upper while you focus on lower, tell him to just say up or something, 1-syllable word, as soon as he sees someone. Can most certainly help. 6-2. Mousesports. This is not looking like a good land for them yet.
Yeah, and I like the detail that we saw from Luminosity on the CT side. They get the first kill. They're just sort of sitting as 4 players in the A yard. And a lot of teams will just wait for the Ts to do something in that position because you're like, oh, well, we have the advantage. But Luminosity did something really cool. I didn't amount to anything necessarily other than information gathering, but they got a pop flash for, I think it was Cello, into Pop Dog. And this is just very key information because then they know, okay, there's nothing happening at Pop Dog right now. We're expecting an A attack. So now they better understand how to push their players around. So they're being very proactive. They're never just sort of sitting on advantages. They're like, okay, we have an advantage. Let's try to get more advantages. Let's get more information. And it's very difficult to do that well with team play, with the utility. But if you can, it is very powerful. And so far, they're showing that to us. One of the few rounds where Showtime's not going aggressive, which is wise considering the buy of Mousesports. We have an advantage, let's try to get more advantages, let's get more information. And it's very difficult to do that well with team play, with the utility, but if you can, it is very powerful, and so far they're showing that to us. One of the few rounds where Showtime's not going aggressive, which is wise considering the buy of Mousesports. We have an advantage, let's try to get more advantages, let's get more information. And it's very difficult to do that well with team play, with the utility, but if you can, it is very powerful, and so far they're showing that to us. One of the few rounds where Showtime's not going aggressive, which is wise considering the buy of Mousesports. We have an advantage, let's try to get more advantages, let's get more information. And it's very difficult to do that well with team play, with the utility, but if you can, it is very powerful, and so far they're showing that to us. One of the few rounds where Showtime's not going aggressive, which is wise considering the buy of Mousesports. we have an advantage, let's try to get more advantages, let's get more information. And it's very difficult to do that well with team play, with the utility, but if you can, it is very powerful, and so far they're showing that to us. One of the few rounds where Showtime's not going aggressive, which is wise considering the buy of Mousesports. Hello, we're back. The internet has returned, and with it, Counter-Strike will resume.
Internet returneth. So we are going to give away, we're doing a giveaway for 100,000 Face-It points. I don't know what you can get for that. Maybe some gloves. I hope you can get some gloves. I bought some gloves recently for £500.
Why did you do that, James?
Some Counter-Strike gloves.
What's your total now of money invested?
It depends. If I go to like my Steam thing, if you go to like badges, it tells you how much you spent in game, and I think it's more than $20,000. And that doesn't include like
I have to look at my
Dragon Lords and things I bought elsewhere. Anyway, so I'm going to press this button, which is definitely connected to a device where something happens on the camera. So all right, let's see. You pieces of absolute trash.
You got.
I just want to.
They put you on blast, James. You got wrecked.
I just want to see like
Brilliant.
how laggy the reaction's going to be. I'm just going to sit here and wait until you. I'm looking at you guys, you tossers. I can say that.
Can you?
No one knows what a tosser is.
Are you sure?
Yeah, man. I'm English. No one knows. No one knows.
If
I went to like some girl here in Mexico and I said, "Hello, you are a tosser," she'd be like, "Oh, he's so cute."
That British. Actually, there's loads of stuff in America where, like, when being in California, where I say stuff like similar to that, and they just have no idea what it means. And it's just endearing, isn't it? It's like, oh, how cute is these British sayings, which are actually horribly offensive. If only I knew what they were.
Yeah,
it's great.
So the internet blew up, but the internet is back. So hopefully that will be the end of the.
It is really stormy outside, so
it is. Actually, once I had to broadcast a Street Fighter tournament in Amsterdam from a satellite connection, and we had some guy come and he put a satellite dish on the roof, but it was basically it was like really strong winds in Amsterdam, so the thing was blowing all over the place. But the key was I just had to bring it down from 720p to 480p, and then it was okay, but it was too stormy for 720p.
I remember those days, the days of 480p streams. I remember those days.
Yeah, streaming from satellite was quite interesting. I remember, yeah, I do a lot. I used to do a lot of broadcasting. Now I have other people do it for me. But yeah, here we go. So all the guys are on the server, and I think we're going to be back into Train 2. So if you are just joining us, or if you are short of memory, 6-2 is the current score in favor of Luminosity, who are on the CT side of Train. It's the first map of this best of 3.
Luckily, no one died when the sort of crash actually happened. So that's really good.
Yeah, it was the beginning of the round.
But Luminosity, they do. I think actually, Showtime got some info. So we'll see. You know what? Okay, we're getting basically the same round from both teams.
Oh look, there it is. Look, it's about 5-minute lag. Donnie has won 100,000 Face-It points.
Congrats!
Congratulations to you. Who's responsible for that? I'm blaming Nicholas. Nicholas, you're up.
Nicholas Kronqvist.
You're a sausage roll. Look at that shot from Oscar.
There we go.
So he's sorry, production's in my way. He's got going, but that's only 1 kill. This is a good round. Look at the map control from Mousesports. They're pushing all the way through B, but this time they have rifles instead of pistols, and Oscar still continues.
Yeah, it's not looking too good for Luminosity, but Nekis bursts through the smoke, gets himself a quick one, and that might be the difference maker here. Will allow them to gain ground very quickly in towards that bomb train, and Nekis will wrap around the side now, doing excellent work, and they have utility. Molotovs being thrown out there. They got in fact, the double incendiary. Oscar can't get a peek in. Defuse comes in, and beautiful stuff from Yell. Great cover for his teammates. 7-2. That looked awful initially for Luminosity, but they managed to win the round. That's going to be such a bolster for them because, again, it must have felt a bit awful just having this great momentum, feeling like you're all over your opponents, like you're suffocating them mentally and just in the game as well. And it's just, you're in a situation where that momentum just gets broken. And maybe that was a chance for Mousesports to recuperate, but no. But no. And just as you said before, James, we haven't been able to see Yell with much AWPing so far this tournament just because they have not had many games where their economy has been good. So this is the first time, really, that's happened.
Yeah. Yeah, I was looking forward to seeing Yell AWPing when Cobblestone was up. Didn't quite happen on previous match, so we'll see how it continues. Lots of in this best of 3, the more open maps were vetoed. So we may see some more technical AWPing, if you will, on the Maps where it's more difficult, we shall see. Anyway, we saw a burst of Oscar, but it wasn't enough for a third round for Mousesports. And they find themselves on pistols. Again, a few deagles here and there. Rop's off to a good start, but Neckers is close enough, so if they try to retrieve that weapon, they may lose a player.
I think one thing with Mousesports as well is that you want to see them speed up the pace massively, and it's because the longer these rounds go on for, Luminosity are actually showing that they're just playing better as a team. And so you want to force situations, force rounds where Luminosity don't have as many chances to gain edges. And that's a 1.6 moment for me, the first. And Oscar almost getting the follow-up there, down to 1. Surely not, but he will. That's absolutely ridiculous. Can't get the pickup of the AWP in time, but he's done enough damage there. The 2v3 for Luminosity to try to recover. And
he's run distraction. Chris has the confidence to go for the side plant because Rops has made his way into CT spawn as well. And you see how Rops isn't engaging. He's leading Luminosity into a false sense of security, landing the headshot on the second try, and he doesn't need to show. He can stay alive. He can let Neckers move into the site. Sunny is coming in from Connector as well, so once Neckers realizes where the bomb is planted, he knows he's in trouble.
Oh, here's the running. That is going to give away the position of Sunny. Now Neckers knows everything, goes for the frag, but he can't find the finish. It's going to be Sunny to do so instead, and a much needed round from Mousesports. And they mentioned it on the desk previously, you know, sometimes just getting these random 2 kills from Oscar. He got 2 kills with a Glock, so don't really expect that to happen every day, but it will give Mousesports a third round.
What's just a quick note? Sunny obviously had no Kevlar in that round, so it's a credit to the devs for fixing the aim punch, or rather, should I say, improving it. So you actually have a fighting chance if you get shot with no armor, as opposed to before, where you might as well just stand up from the keyboard and mouse. So yeah. A really tough spot, but that gives Mousesports a much-needed round. And they win a round where they had nothing invested, which means that they get more money than they would otherwise. They have a bit more to play with, but we'll see how it plays out. They've shortened the money of Luminosity. We see some shortcomings now. Cello on a pistol, Showtime with a French gun. But Yell, importantly, still on the AWP.
Yes, that is very important. Looking forward to seeing how that plays out in this round. Showtime has definitely slowed things down in the last few rounds. Can't be aggressive all the time. And that will be an easy opener from Mousesports. Some good utility usage and coordination to get into the site. And this may be, yeah, just a pure save here from Luminosity. Can't really expect too much from this position. You can see the money shown there on the HUDs. A very nice addition on this HUD. Just bring that up whenever, instead of having to check that ugly scoreboard. And obviously, this is the swing moment for Mousesports to get back into this. It was looking like it could have been a 10-2 type situation for Luminosity, but instead, Mousesports, with that very surprising round win, again from the Glock kills of Oscar, are really in for a solid, well, fighting chance to equalize the scoreline. But there is an AWP going into the next round, and a rifle. Cello's got some Kevlar as well as the Deagle, so Luminosity are going to be able to play this round out with some firepower.
How do they activate Yell in this situation? I'm curious to see what spawn Yell has, actually. Okay, not the most forward spawn. I think if you wanted to go to Connector, he would still get there before the T's can make their way out of main, but seems he will be heading towards the Ivy position. He can go up the ladder, ideally to the left of the ladder, and then have a look towards main if he wants to. You can see he is being active. In the meantime, Mousesports are slowly taking map control towards B. It seems, the way they're moving, it seems that they are expecting some aggression from the CTs, and they want to be very ready to trade if necessary. There's a first one, and it seems they may charge into B, perhaps, before rotation can come in, or maybe not. Also, Chris J holding an angle on the lower position. If Showtime goes too deep, he will be in trouble. There's a double pop flash from the T side. Random spray. Chris J's blind as well, but he will get the kill. And now it's about saving for Yell, but he is in the B bomb site. So what does he want to do in this situation? This is tough now because it goes from attack and aggression to self-preservation. PKL could run distraction for a second, but now he's dead. Yell could do some damage here. I don't know what the money's like for Mousesports at the moment, but there we go. Thank you for the toggle, Connor. So they're fine. They can hunt Yell down as much as they want. Yell has to desperately hold on to this AWP, but we see Rops is coming in from the back.
Yeah, it's going to be very tough for Yell to anticipate this. Will he? Oh, he might, and he will! That is a big kill, and I wondered how much Mousesports were going to invest in trying to deal with Yell. And it looks like maybe even more. Yell, does he hit the shot? Nice bait there, but still Yell picks it up, and this is critical. Stiko goes down. Oscar, does he want a piece of it as well? Looked like he was going for it, but Yell didn't offer himself up. And that's really crucial to get so many frags against his opponents there. Also, obviously, to keep the AWP alive and keep that threat in there. And we'll see now Luminosity with a pretty decent situation on the buy, thanks to that.
Yeah, that's a small example of Yell's prowess. A very small example, but maybe we'll see more of it in these buy rounds. Oscar on AWP as well. He has been, he has had some good output. Ooh, that was a close one. PK, look at this, look at the crimson on the wall. Plasma. Very lucky to get away with that, and that's a warning shot from Oscar. But we need more than warning shots from Mousesports. And they will get the first pick, but Sunny will be instantly traded. But they've got a minute 25 in a 4-on-4. That's a plus for them.
Yeah, and that was, you know, that quick trade out there that was towards T main. That was an aggression Luminosity took there, and that was something that really accented the first, you know, 4 or 5 rounds where they got such a big lead. It was just, they're all over Mousesports. Mousesports, you know, finally able to get some fight back. And a 4v4 is definitely a great situation for them to be in. Just hitting the minute mark now on the time, and how will Luminosity play this? The real big key is that Showtime just doesn't go down immediately. If they push into the bomb site, he really needs to be able to hold down this position and prevent Mousesports from pushing him back so that his teammates can get out the choke points, but he's going to go for it. Has support from Yell, the dropping headshot from Rops, and now Yell is in a position where he has to go for a play. He moves forwards, looking for the next shot. And the bomb still hasn't made its way onto the trainer. This is actually starting to be a bit desperate for Mousesports, but they do still have the man advantage.
Rops needs to identify where these CTs are, but it's taking too long, and that bomb's going to have to start moving in. But Stiko will win the duel with the bomb. He is the bomb carrier, and there is the last kill from Rops. So patience pays off for Mousesports. It did look slightly awkward for the CTs on B, with the repositioning from Showtime moving underneath the higher area. It seems he was going to focus on the lower area. Yell gets a pick off towards lower, and then what is that mask Rops is wearing? And then jumping down, loses the duel. That kind of sucks, but there we go.
That's awesome. The sombreros as well, just like how they go so much like past like little elements, the little background elements. Just sticking out.
It's almost like some kind of weird, like Spider-Man and Venom, because in the game it's a normal portrait, but on the replay it's the it's the alt, it's the hold, select, start, and press X.
That is amazing. Was that there yesterday? I did not notice. Brilliant. Right, we can see Luminosity were looking sort of much more pumped up earlier, you know, for obvious reasons. They were absolutely killing it. But now in Mousesports, you know, really fighting back on this T side. Obviously, this is quite cool, actually. We'll see Yell still, you know, holding on to an AWP. And with the Deagles as well, you got to give a lot of respect. But I like this from Mousesports. They get Sunny out there trying to make some space in the open areas of the A train yard. And so far, he can't find all that much. There it is, Yell now, revealing that he has an AWP. His presence will be difficult to deal with. But the utility will help. Good smoke there, and perhaps there is no way back into the bomb site.
Yeah, again, it's about Yell trying to hold on to this AWP for the last round. And it seems he may try to hide in plain sight. So this is turning into quite a reasonable half for Mousesports. 7 rounds on the board so far, 1 more to fight for. So maybe we will see a game from them yet. Let's see. Okay, so Yell can still buy the AWP this round, so... Or he has one. I guess it's been dropped by somebody else, but... As long as he has one. Good utility for Luminosity. If there were less, perhaps they'd be more inclined to go for an aggressive play, but they're not shy of aggression, which again is a stark difference to their old roster, especially on the T side, where they would be notoriously slow. And indeed, Cello getting into a forward position, so it seems that it looks like the AWP was going to be the initial engager, and then he would try and trade, but maybe with Nekis going down, he's going to speed up. The bomb's getting planted with 1:30 on the clock. This is a buy round. This is unusual for Train.
Oscar, will you expect the second player behind him? Nicely done by Cello. And that is potentially an opening for his team. Oscar's down. That key position, PKL wins Ali as well. Smoke down onto teammate. Cello, lucky to be alive. Picks up another one. That is outrageous. Sunny now the last man standing to try to figure out a way to do this. Does get some damage in, but his position given up. Has to move through the smoke up the ladder, and it's too easy to read for Yell. And well, 8-7 at the end of the first half, and if we consider that start for Luminosity, Mousesports, credit to them for that string of 5 rounds towards the end.
Yeah, a second wind for Mousesports in that first half. So let's see who can take momentum into the second one. Very curious to see who people at home are favouring between these two sides. Let us know, send us some tweets.
I've got a good feeling about Luminosity this tournament. They are looking pretty darn good. Pretty complete team at the moment. But it's down to the headshots here as we move into the second pistol of Train. And Sunny will take a forward position towards the Pop Dog, and Luminosity will be moving in the numbers towards Secret. And Chris J with that frag, he gets a lot of information as well. He pushes Team Main with that kill, and that's going to tell Mousesports everything. They're starting to reposition towards B. They've got a perfect read on the situation. They just have to hit the shots, and that triple peek is not going to go well for Chris.
Oh. Sunny caught on the reload, but Oscar is here as well. Can he land the shots, the headshot? It's got to be a headshot pretty much against this Kevlar. Oh my god. Jumping will not save you. That took so long to get those 3 kills as well. That's pretty crazy. 1 versus 3 in about 2 meters of space, and Oscar manages to deliver those headshots after all. If he doesn't land the headshots, that's like 5-6 bullets into the Kevlar to find a kill there. And he is nonplussed. He cares not. Money for an AWP to come a bit later on.
Yeah, that was pretty interesting, actually. I think that second kill he didn't know anything about. I think he's trying to hit that guy who was just jumping up, but managed to get the guy behind him. Classic. And 8-8 scoreline. So things looking like they could be pretty good here for Mousesports. I mean, moving into their CT side, they get a good start in the economy, which is always what you want, of course. But they have to try to sustain against the force buy, which can be tricky sometimes. We'll see, though. There is a player close. Oscar behind the planks. How much can he get? UMP. Oh, bit laboured, bit arduous, but somehow Oscar still makes it look pretty good in the end.
Can the bomb get planted? No, it can't. Nick is taken down, and it's down to PKL. He could pick up something nice here. Or perhaps not, but that's good damage, though. They took out 3 players of Mousesports, so they've definitely hurt the economy moving forward. This is a round where Mousesports definitely need to build some more cash. Good opportunity to do it because Luminosity, their choices have been taken away. Going back to the pistol round, though, I would have liked to have seen at least 1 P250 on Luminosity. I think if you're sending 1 person into the A site and you've got a guy buying grenades, someone had a smoke and maybe a flash as well, I think just drop the guy who's going into A at P250 because that, again, that's like almost double the range of a 1-shot headshot on a pistol run for the T side. So if you're trying to sell a fake as well, if he gets a pick there, he may pull players away from B. I don't think there's much harm in dropping that P250, but here we go. I love to see this from Oscar. He knows there's no Kevlar in this round, so he goes with the USP. This is something I've spoken about on Mirage. I think there's a world where a CT player, a CT sniper, can go into CPL with a USP on the 3rd round when he knows the Ts aren't going to have some Kevlar, because you don't necessarily need anything else, and you don't want to really invest when you want to buy the AWP on the buy round. But Oscar does this sometimes, but he goes aggressive. Yeah. He chases the kills as opposed to trying to abuse the range of the USP. A little bit
counterintuitive, perhaps, but I mean, Oscar is as Oscar does. He sort of doesn't really. He sort of just does his own thing, doesn't he? And he makes it work. He can kind of break the rules. He gets that luxury because he's Oscar. So It's the AKs out for Luminosity now, and this will be quite interesting. We saw them do really good work on Cobblestone against Fnatic yesterday when they had very low utility, but 5 AKs. So it'd be cool to see something similar. And I like that they're going with a heavy pressure towards Ali immediately. After seeing Oscar having that USP, they're going to be 100% certain that he's going to have an AWP in this round as well. That shouldn't be something that they overlook. And I think that is why they have so many players who could trade out against an AWP on Ali in this way. So unfortunately for them, Oscar is not in that position. I think that would have been ideal, but Chris J plays a fantastic angle on the green train. He has so much info that he can effectively expose himself to teammate, understanding it's safe, but eventually the pixel shots made by Showtime as we have Luminosity starting to take control of the back lines.
3 on 3, the bomb's been spotted, needs to be collected, but it's awkward. Yell's only got 8 HP, afraid to commit the grenade. Oh, it's not close enough. Yell may survive this yet, but there's a gap in the smoke, and Rops has an angle. Yell is surely going to go down. Rops is still here fighting on his own. He's taking some damage though, and that can be heard by the T's. More grenades flying in. There will be a trade. Surely it's time to collect this bomb. Look at the investment. There's like over $1,000 of grenades being thrown around this bomb, but finally it is collected. PKL has the angle, but does he have the spray? Stico manages to avoid it, and Oscar is still lurking with the AWP around the connector position, realizing that it's probably a neck is ducks, and that helps him survive. That is an absolutely perfect duck. That's got to be frustrating for Oscar.
Yeah, there's aim battles against sort of like the ducking, sort of crouch sliding opponents, really annoying. And Stico with the MP9, he's got a lot to do with this. But at least with the MP9, you can sort of run and gun. It's this added maneuverability that can make this gun a little bit special in these moments sometimes, but there's no chance. Nekis ready and waiting. That's now 9 rounds for Luminosity and the 10 for Mousesports. And again, I just really love the decision to go 4 players towards the Ali position and just trying to play that trade game, and then using the AKs from the back lines when you know that your opponents are still carrying SMGs. You can have such an advantage on these long-range aim battles with those AKs, so it really worked out well for them. Now the question is, how do they deal with double up? Do they even anticipate double up? They're going fast. This could be a good response against that, but Oscar, he's going to get a tag, but not the kill. That's going to be players from Luminosity able to push forwards. Oscar, not a second chance at it. It's going to be down to his teammates instead.
The bomb has fallen towards Ivy, and there was a 2-man push from the CT side. They've got the numbers around that bomb. Yell has a lot of work to do. Manages to survive for the time being. Fast, but not fast enough. Chris J's turn to collect the sniper and deliver a kill. Mousesports with a 2-round lead, and they've put Luminosity in a bad economical situation. $1,500 to $3,000. So again, it's an opportunity for Mousesports to build some cash, and they're going to go double sniper in this round, taking the second one in kind. Thank you, Luminosity.
Indeed, this is kind of scary now for Luminosity, like double orbs and so on. But again, they should recognize it. Okay, this is what Mousesports are doing. You know, we can try to play optimally against that. Use the set pieces to try to restrict the vision and close the distance to where the AWPs are less effective. And that is that's the game plan that you expect. And it's difficult, I think, for Mousesports to counter that. And sometimes you just have to play retake and just wait out the smokes, as opposed to the other option, which is to go aggressive. Because it can be difficult to go aggressive without having a lot of riflers.
Looking at the position of Mousesports, Rops is very, very passive, which means that their concern is likely their own economy as opposed to stopping the bomb plant from going down. So now they can retake with relative ease, 5 versus 2 at the moment. Stico unable to avoid those headshots. Okay, now it's getting expensive. 2 players taking one in the face, leaving Cello alone. He's got a high explosive grenade. He might be able to bounce that off the door, but first he has to face with a gun, and Rops is waiting for him. Unusual angle from Rops of 5 HP. Want to be careful down that ladder. I was just about to say, and of course he craters.
The smirk from Chris there.
I was just about to say.
You banana, Rops. Yeah, you absolute banana.
Why go down the ladder? Oh dear, oh dear.
That's too good. Oh my god.
It's because he's wearing a mask. Couldn't see what he was doing properly.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. Ooh. Oh god. Well, anyway, doubles continue, and you know, we're talking previously about what the approach should be. Again, the bomb was put down and the money gained. Sort of the mutual agreement. You guys can have the bomb plant as long as we don't lose players. As James pointed out, now it's the question of how they deal with this. We get an aggression from Mousesports. I like that on Ali. They've got Chris, I believe, pushing that with the AWP. Indeed, it is Chris scoping up, and look at this fast push. This is perfect timing. Chris is pushed up in Ali, but still, Sunny, somehow, I don't know how, but he gets a double from CT Heaven.
Silence and 4 will certainly help. Cello picked off elsewhere. Luminosity, the legs are being pulled off the spider at the moment. Showtime is alone. He's got a bomb, but that might not mean much when you've got 4 opponents to face. Mousesports enjoying the momentum that Luminosity had on the CT side. And the Brazilians are struggling. They'll have a good buy in the next round. They can spend some additional money in this one, but we're seeing pistols, but we're not really seeing grenades. We're not seeing utility in a round such as this to help them. Let's say they go for a B play. They can try and make their way through B, try and do some damage for the future rounds, try and break the economy over a long term. I mean, Deagles will certainly do that, but they've got one flashbang with which to get into position.
Ooh. Yeah, this is quite the crazy turnaround. Really good stuff from Mousesports so far. This AWP's really working out for them.
What's that character in Mario, which is on a cloud and goes fishing? Somebody tweet me. Someone knows that, I'm sure. Because this is how I see this kind of buy from Luminosity. They're just fishing for shots. They're waiting for the CTs to face them with like absolutely no utility. You could, between green train and the burgundy train, you could put a smoke in this position, for example, or I mean, you could put a wall of smokes in. It's not going to cost you a lot of money to get into closer quarters where you're not stuck in a choke point and try to do some more damage to the economy. I mean, Mousesports are at 14 rounds. If you're able to win some rounds and do damage on the way on your eco rounds, then that may pay off later on. But
burgundy train, James. I think it's more of a maroon.
I'm not going to fight you on this, Stan.
I think it depends on the digital vibrance, maybe.
Yeah,
could be a thing.
I'm more of a burgundy man myself.
But burgundy is great. I like burgundy a lot. Well, Luminosity taking that tactical timeout, and things are really slipping through their fingers after such a good start. Mousesports with an awesome CT side. And we haven't seen sort of some of those set pieces that I was looking for.
Lakitu. That's what it's called. The cloud guy.
Oh, okay.
Lakitu.
Lakitu.
Please continue. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm not really sorry.
I was just saying we're not seeing those set pieces, and with the pickup of the AWP onto yellow, I would be surprised if we see a fast set piece. They may instead, we can see 2 players moving towards Ali. Let's try to win the battles here and try to create some space, play more of a default.
Ooh. Oh!
The tease.
Scary. Double AWPs continue for the Sports of Mouse. 5-round lead for the CT side. Finally looking to stabilize in the rough seas.
Oh, that did not look like a miss.
He must have been moving still, strafing.
Yeah. But that is going to be an opportunity for Cello. That's the kind of opening that can really make a difference. 1 minute left now, and Luminosity have a position where they can now execute a set piece. And we will see them move into position. They have 3 smokes, and that should be enough. Here, as we can see them going for the lineups. And this is going to be difficult. Mousesports not being proactive, just sort of holding their positions at the moment. And that's fine, especially with Chris on the AWP. He's going to have to back away, though. Doesn't really have the support here. They don't have control of Pop Dog either. Oh, no, sorry, they do. They've got Sunny there. My bad. Sunny is going to be doing a lot of damage here. And perhaps they should have considered clearing out Pop Dog before going for this push here. Sunny, how do you deal with him at this point?
2 players left. 14 seconds with which to deliver a bomb plant. Yell 1 versus 2, but there isn't time. They don't need to both face him. One person can face him, take his AWP away. That's Chris J. Whereas Rops could just go AFK. Stay away from ladders though, Rops, just in case. And there it is. Game point for Mousesports. And look at what Luminosity have left over. $3,500 on most players, so we may see a fast round from them. Options have been taken away.
Yeah, it's looking quite grim. They have not found a an answer. Like, we're not really seeing these... Again, like, you really want to see when you're seeing these double orbs, you want to see the T side engineer around where they get a bomb plant down through the use of utility, which pushes the orbs out of position or into unfavorable positions before they can get a lot of kills. And that's really the ideal approach here, generally speaking, especially on a map like Train. I do respect the approach going for defaults. Previously, Luminosity did get a 5v4 with the pickoff onto Oscar, just unable to convert after not taking control of Pop Dog effectively and so on. And these are some of the small details that make the difference. And that is quite the greeting. Hello, Yell. Enjoy the AWP in your face. Enjoy.
4 players alive for Luminosity, though. They can still do this. It looks like the wall of smoke or a set of smokes of some description will be deployed, but that is a perfect timing of that Molotov just as those smokes start to fly in. Chris J in an aggressive position, repositioning, and now he's baiting, and Sunny will take the kill, although it would have been either one. More Molotovs towards Pop. They are really stopping Luminosity from using what numbers they have, and that leaves Cello alone in a 1 versus 5. He's made it 4, but 44 seconds. He did the best he could, but credit to Mousesports. They isolated Luminosity and stopped them from using their full force on that A push. So maybe we're finally seeing some strength from Mousesports. We move towards Nuke with a dominating scoreline from